Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Thank you so much for joining into Design Systems at Spotify in Stockholm today. We are so happy to see so many people joining us today. I've heard people coming, like person coming from the States to attend this meetup. We have people from Germany, Austria,
Norway,
UK, Norway,
Mexico,
Lithuania,
Mexico over there.
Mexico. Oh my God. That's so cool. Yeah, welcome.
So cool.
Peru. Oh my God.
What?
Uruguay. Colombia. Oh my God. That's so cool. Wow.
The whole of South America.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for attending this meetup today. It's our first meetup here at Spotify in Stockholm. Let's just see if the clicker working. It's not working.
Is it on?
Did this. Yeah, we are so honored to be here at Spotify. I wouldn't have imagined as a young designer that one day I will be here at the stage. So back then I was redesigning Spotify's music player, doing all this music player designs as a young designer. What was your favorite UI to redesign? Also a music player? Something else?
Yeah, well, Spotify is everyone's number one.
Spotify. How many of you have ever designed a music player UI as a young designer recently? That's cool. I think Recipe app is also a favorite one. The Recipe app, yeah, yeah, that's so cool. All right, before we get to started, we want to thank the community. We want to thank Sean for making this event happen. This has been in the planning for 2 years. So thank you so much, Sean. Thank you so much to the Spotify team, Audrey, Sarah, Marcus. Thank you to Marco for setting up a very fancy tech suit case.
Fancy.
Everything is 3D printed. If you want to have a look afterwards and you are into streaming and this kind of stuff, please have a look. And we also have some really cool volunteers, Tiago, Manuela, Mariana, and Osan, who is taking photos and who help with the check-in. This is a huge community effort. So thank you, everybody. Yeah, please give them a round of applause. Yeah, I just want to mention that this community is so awesome because it was like yesterday, hey, can you help us with check-in? Yes. When should I arrive? And that's so cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you. Hopefully you already had some pizza and drinks. Pizza is over there and drinks are over there. And this session will also be recorded. We will send you a link around October 1st. Please give us some time to do some editing. We'll email you the link. And also, this is a safe space for everyone, right?
And introvert friendly, as we always like to say. So
It's introvert friendly. We both are big introverted persons. So we want to welcome all the introverts, all the neurodivergent folks. You made it. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for coming here. I know it's not easy. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, please come on stage afterwards and talk to us. Okay?
on stage
On stage.
or on
Okay?
stage.
No, no, afterwards. Yeah, please help us to create a safe space, inclusive event, friendly event. Everyone should feel welcome. Warm welcome to the LGBTQ plus community. Yeah, help us to make this event inclusive and friendly, please. All right, it's time to meet us, the hosts.
Have you met Sil before?
You
Hi, everybody. I'm Andressa. I am a host with Into Design Systems, and I have been for, I don't know, 3 years now. Yeah, this is our first time at Spotify. We're all very excited. Outside of Into Design Systems, I also work as a design system lead at Miro. I teach design systems and UI at Memorisely, which some of you may recognize by Superfast.
Super fast.
But the main thing is that I am a huge music lover and pastry lover, so that's the main reason I'm here. Stockholm has some pretty amazing pastry, and Spotify, know a thing or two about music. So yeah, delighted to be here.
Yeah. Hi.
Over to you.
Thank you, Andressa. Hi, my name is Sil. I work with several brands, help them with the design system before I started into design systems. I wanted to create a friendly, welcoming community where everyone can share and learn together in a safe space. And so we can, yeah, help each other. I'm also a big introvert, so that's why I created not only for the introverts, but everyone else. I created a handbook. Feel free to scan the QR code or type in the URL. It's bit.ly/IDS minus Spotify. There you will find the agenda. You will find information about Into Design Systems, about the speakers, some bonus free conference recordings. So you can follow on your own pace and you won't miss anything. Let us know if this is helpful for you. A bit more time. bit.ly IDS minus Spotify. I just flew here from Germany and I found it so cool that this flight attendants can say like, C Charlie gate 22, C 22, Charlie 22. You know this? I don't. What is B, Benjamin?
I know nothing about the phonetic alphabet.
Yeah.
No.
D must be Dumbledore for sure. Okay, let's have a look at the agenda, Andressa.
Yeah, we have a very exciting agenda. You may have seen up front or may not, but we will have the folks from Spotify joining us after this to talk about a hot topic. Design system that enables humans and machine, I should have memorized it, to co-create production ready UI, which is, I think, big question everyone will be asking. Like, yes, AI is here, but how good is it to make into production? So yeah, we'll be very curious to hear about what they have to share. Then we have IKEA joining us remotely from I can't remember. Are they joining us from Finland?
They're joining us from Malmö.
From Malmö.
And we wanted to really make this session happen because Skapa, and let me know if that's pronounced correctly. I practice a lot, Skapa, their design Skapa.
Okay.
Yeah, how good is that? Skapa.
I think it was
Their
excellent.
design system is really incredible and they don't share a lot. And we really wanted to make their session happen. So they will join remotely from Malmö.
Yeah, exciting. And last but not least, we have Laura from Figma talking about Labubus and Birkenstock. Yeah.
Anyone wearing Birkenstocks tonight? No.
Anyone has a Labubu? No.
Yes.
Couple of us.
No. Okay.
So we shall find out what that has to do with design systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then finally we have pitch to friends.
Yeah, pitch to friends, where we ask community members, you, to come on stage to pitch your project, tell us something about you. Maybe you're looking for a job, maybe you're offering a job. So now we have like around 1 hour time to prepare something. Should be a spontaneous, unprepared elevator pitch. And everyone is welcome to come on stage and tell us what you are offering or looking for. Pitch to friends. And we have some networking time until 10 p.m.
10 p.m. sharp.
10 p.m. sharp, really sharp. And the plan is for some more networking, and I've dedicated a whole slide to this because it's so important that we can go to a bar afterwards. So you probably know Talk. It's around the corner. The plan is to go there, and feel free to join us for some more networking. We also want to tell you before we start with the talks a little bit about Into Design Systems. I started this from my living room. Didn't know anyone working with design systems, and now it's a big community around the world, and we are so grateful to have you as part of the community and to have you here. We organize meetup chapters around the world. We have meetups in Seattle, Hong Kong, Sydney, Lisbon, Barcelona, Berlin, and so many more. If you're in one of these cities, feel free to join one of our events. And also, we are well known for our online conference. We just wrapped up a 3-day conference and 20 hours of content, right, Andressa?
Yeah, yeah. If you haven't been, this is your chance. The best design systems conference out there. I may be biased, but it's true.
Yeah, you will hear from folks like Nathan Curtis. How many of you do know Nathan Curtis? Yeah, a very well-known design system consultant, deep dive into eBay's Evo Playground design system, and so much more. Feel free to check that out. The link is included in your handbook, and there are some previous sessions you can watch for free. And many folks have messaged us, when's the next conference?
Well, there you go.
There you go. And we are so much now into vibe coding and AI. Also, we see a lot of companies posting their job offerings. For example, Spotify is looking for a design system manager, and it's required to have some AI knowledge. So we thought, let's dedicate 2 days to learn from other teams how to vibe code and use AI. So feel free to check that out. And one last slide. This is how it looks like for introverts networking online. This is how our conference looks, online conference looks like. So you get the idea. I hope to see you there. One more chance to scan the QR code or type in the URL bit.ly/IDS Spotify, and we are ready. We are ready to go.
We're ready to go.
Let's go, friends. Enjoy the evening. Please talk to us afterwards, especially introverted persons or people who came here on their own. We want to feel. Please help us to make it very friendly and inclusive. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we would love to welcome Serah from Spotify on stage.
Huge thank you, Sarah.
Let's go, Serah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Serah Njambi Kiburu. I am a recent engineering lead. I've stepped up into this role as engineering lead for a design systems engineering team at Spotify and also accessibility team. We believe design systems should be inclusive by default. And so these teams sit right next to each other. And if you want to talk about that, find me after all of this. It's a whole different talk. My work here is to welcome you to Spotify and to thank the organizers for trusting us with this event, to host it and to have all of you here. We're really happy you're here. It's my first one, hopefully first of many. So please feel free to keep grabbing food on that side, drinks on that side whenever you need. If you need assistance, the security people are at hand to help you. Find me, or the two speakers who are coming up next will be here to help you as well, not during the presentation, after, of course. All right, so without further ado, I will welcome Victoria, who's engineer on the Encore team, which is our design system at Spotify, and Alex, who's designer on the design systems team as well, for the first presentation, and then we'll move on to other speakers. Have a great time, everybody.
Right. I think we're doing some technical stuff beforehand, so I'll be the halftime entertainment for about 10 minutes while we'll do that. Anyone got any questions for me? Oh, yeah, I got a question up here. A polar bear? That's a good one. And you got I love puns. Any other puns? You got a good puns? No good puns? No? I did one this week, which a friend of mine here at Spotify really did not like me for. So we got a channel where we are designers who are kind of into AI, or we're using AI in some ways to design. And we got this channel where we chat about it together. And I wanted to share something with them. So I decided to call them designers, but I spell designers DESAI. Ners. And I was super proud of that. I was very happy with what I'd done. And she was not. And she told me that we could not be friends anymore. So I want you to know that if you're into puns, you got a friend in me. All right. Looks like we are technically on point. Are we ready? Yes.
Yes. Working?
It's working.
Oh God.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Once again, welcome to Spotify. It's so nice to have so many people in this room. I can't remember the last time I saw this many people in this room. It's a nice office, but it's usually very empty. Work from anywhere. Let's start. We just go.
So hi everyone, my name is Victoria and I'm a web engineer working on Encore, our design system.
And I'm Alex. I should have mentioned that 10 minutes ago when I started talking. But I'm a product designer, also at the design system Encore. And we're here to hopefully give some insights into how we're thinking about design systems at Spotify, the future of design systems at Spotify, and especially now with the recent events of like AI just taking hold of every single aspect of our lives, and that in tandem with how freaking ambiguous AIs can be. So hopefully we'll share some insights around that today.
Right. But to understand where we're going, we first need to take a look back and see where we've been. So Encore's mission has always been simple. We want to balance consistency with flexibility so that teams can move fast. So to achieve this, we have provided a shared set of tokens, components, and guidelines across platforms like iOS, web, and Android, but also fridges, TV, and watches. So basically, if Spotify runs there, Encore supports it. Nope. Now we're double think. And basically, it's working really well. Our shared styles has been used over 220,000 times, which is more than 50% of growth year by year. Our components are used in 86,000 places, and it's still growing. And developers are telling us that they love it. We have a 93% satisfaction rate, which is one of the highest scores of all of the golden technologies at Spotify. Which is another win for us. We are deemed the golden technology at Spotify. And what is a golden technology, you might ask? It's pretty much just a standardized shared stack, which means that if you are building anything at Spotify, you are guided to use Encore from the get-go. So from all of this history and statistics, we can tell that Encore has thrived in a world where humans come to us. If they need help, we will point them to the right answers. We guide the process and the communication. But as we all know, times are changing.
All right. So let's talk a bit about AI. AI is not really new to Spotify. Most of you have seen some of our playlists, the day list, the Discover Weekly. It's all driven by some sort of AI. It's machine learning in the background. And it's not even new to us at Encore. 2 years ago now, or something like that, we tried to build a GPT that could help answer support questions in Slack. As you can tell from this image, the results were pretty mixed. And so we're running into this issue where we don't really know what AI is going to give us. And we've gotten to a point now where AI isn't even just for machine learning engineers or very fancy titles like that. It's like everyone is using AI in some way, shape, or form. I'm sure everyone here has a close relative or something that is using AI to answer questions AI should not be answering. And we're sensing the same thing at Spotify, where people who probably have not used design systems before or coded before are using AI to produce prototypes or even production-ready code. So we've been starting to questioning ourselves and questioning our space in the design sphere at Spotify. And if you were wondering, yeah, that was a clippy version of the Encore logo that we used as logotype. So what we've been questioning ourselves is very close to what Jacob Stybersky here has also questioned is what happens when AI becomes the go-to teammate instead of our human ones? And specifically for us at Encore, what happens to the design system when the AI becomes the go-to teammate instead of our human ones? So as Victoria just showed this graph of where we completely own this path of communication, the human workers, they come to us for questions or to our documentation site that we fully own and fully control, and we can guide them to the right path of using the design system. What happens when that becomes this path instead, where the humans don't come to us first, they start asking AI. And these agents are maybe not fully aware of everything that Encore is and what we stand for and what we deem correct. Well, the AI is not going to figure it out. It's going to put the users on a different path. So what we've been talking to ourselves about and what we've been asking ourselves is how do we become a system that isn't just good for humans, but it's also good for machines? Because what we, in theory, want to do is to enable anyone at Spotify to design at the speed of Spotify and work at the speed of Spotify. And right now, the speed of Spotify in some way, shape, or form involves AI.
Right. So let's summarize all of this. Basically, Encore powers Spotify at a massive scale. We're supporting thousands of devices and dozens of teams. We're driving speed, accessibility, and consistency across products. And now everyone, designers, engineers, even product managers, is using AI to build and prototype. But however, as Alex said, this is creating a bit of a risk. If we don't adapt, we're going to be bypassed and forgotten. But with the risk comes a challenge. How do we stay relevant at the age of AI? Basically, our response to this challenge is that we need to keep up with the fast innovation in the AI age, as well as staying true to our core values like thoughtful execution that we were founded on. And that brings us to our two first working tracks. First of all, we have how do we embed Encore into AI so that when LMMs write code suggestions and answer questions, it's going to be based on our standards. And the second part is how do we rethink our component architecture so that it will be more adaptable for both humans and machines. Okay, let's start off with talking about the first working track. So as mentioned earlier, developers and designers are increasingly turning to AI agents like Cursor to answer questions and get code solutions. Since this is quickly becoming the new norm, it's crucial that our design system becomes a part of this new workflow. And as we mentioned, if we don't act now, there's a real risk that developers will start getting AI-generated solutions that doesn't follow Encore guidelines. This could lead to more custom implementations that will reduce adoption of our design system. Therefore, we are making the new Encore, or rather, we're making our Encore documentation and guidelines available to AI agents, like Cursor, for example. And how we are doing this is we are building our own Encore MCP. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, which is really just the standard that helps AI apps connect to other systems. You can think of it as a connector that gives the LMM data and context that it needs. This is a service that keeps our design system data structure machine readable and also accessible to the LMMs. This way, when someone is using an AI agent like Cursor, the model will have access to our
Encore documentation and our guidelines, and we'll be able to generate answers and code based on our standards. However, we can't just launch and hope for the best. We need to know that it works. So we have defined our own testing framework to evaluate how different LMMs will respond to a given set of prompts. This evaluation tests the prompts against a number of different large language models. It then evaluates things like generated components versus our own components, linked errors, and similarity scores. This sort of evaluation process helps us understand the end-to-end output and will ensure that we know that what users will get from the AI agents is aligned with Encore. Right, we're not only looking at the generated code output. A very big part of how Spotify operates is by doing a lot of quick prototyping and innovation, which means that the visual often means just as much as the underlying code. This is why we have also built a visual testing tool to evaluate the quality of the visuals that AI produces. Not just that, we're also comparing different MCP tools against each other. This will help us see if the output that is generated is aligned with Encore's guidelines and standards, and if a tool might give users more value than another tool. And together, this approach will ensure that both the quality of the experience and the usefulness of the tools is up to standard, so that we can deliver as much value to our consumers as possible. All right, that was a lot. But basically getting the elements to understand Encore is really just one part of the challenge. And the other part of the challenge is how we're planning to improve our component structure. Over to you.
Over to me, thank you. Yeah, so like Victoria said, AI understanding our documentation, our guidelines, our rules of accessibility, like Serah mentioned earlier, is very important to us. Another thing that we've been thinking about for a while is our component system isn't really as great as it could be. It's not as good as it could be for our end users, the ones who's actually having to engineer all these puzzle pieces together to build the Spotify interfaces. And with the rise of AI, we realized that if we're not doing something soon, we're not just running into the risk of our users not being able to get the best they can out of our system. We're also running into the risk of getting AIs tripped up on simple parts just because of our component system. So to solve this, or to mitigate this in some ways, we've thought up a thing that we decided to call the layered architecture. Now, to understand the layered architecture, we need to take a slight step back and just look at what our component system is right now. And I'm sure most of you have seen some kind of slide like this. This is how our component system works. There are these bundles of behaviors and styles, and they're all rooted in our foundations from the get-go. Like most of you have seen something like this, and there's a good reason for that. This is a good system. It does what it's supposed to do. It creates very easily reusable components. Anyone can pick a button and use that button somewhere else. And we, as a maintaining design system, have the opportunity to decide everything about that button. We can choose the border radius, we can choose the font size, and we can choose the API structure. However, it also creates this rigidness of our system. So for any minor variation to our components, like adding a toggle behavior to our buttons, you as a user need to either wait for us to prioritize and build that. You have to build it yourself and wait for us to approve it through some kind of PR or request for change, or you hack around it. And as we mentioned earlier, Spotify works at a rapid pace. Every team has a lot of things to do, and they want to try a lot of different things. So more often than not, that hack becomes the way forward. And that's not good for us as a design system, because people start moving outside of the system. And it's not good for the users, because they're building outside of the system that they should be able to use at a greater scale. So we're introducing what we call the layered architecture, where instead of these bundles of behavior and styles within the foundations, we're separating all of the things of a component into 3 distinct layers. We still got our foundational layer, we got the component style layer, and we got a component behavior layer. And what this means in practice is that as a user, you're able to pick a button, for instance, and just use this as you would normally, if you want to. But say you're in a service where you just need the button to look like a button, but you have your own very bespoke business logic that you need to apply for it. Well, then you just take the button styles and you apply your own markup to it. Or perhaps you really like the button, but you would love it if it had a toggle setting, and you just need to slightly tweak the behavior to add a separate toggle behavior. And you can do that as well. And a crucial part of doing this is that we're building all of this on top of headless component systems, like you probably heard React Aria or Base UI. And what that means is essentially we're getting a lot of interaction smarts out of someone else. We're getting keyboard interactions and accessibility and toggle states and things like that, while we can focus on controlling what we really care about, which is making sure that everything we produce looks and feels and acts like Spotify should act. So there's a lot of benefits to this. Obviously, one benefit for our users is that they can now start doing things at a faster pace. They can start working at the speed of innovation, working at the speed of Spotify. And for machines, it means that they have way smaller context bubbles to work out of. They can understand the foundational context. They can understand the button context. And they can also understand headless component system, because most of the systems out there, like React Aria or Base UI, are already part of these models training sets. So we're removing a lot of the hurdles for AI as well. And it's not just for our users. It's great for us as well, we realized. Building on top of another system like React Aria or Base UI allows us to more rapidly grow and extend our component coverage. It makes it much easier for us to take a step back and really focus in on the things, like I said, that make Spotify feel like Spotify. What is that, and how do we provide that to our components? And yeah, it creates this contribution setting and standard where if you're trying to contribute to our system, you know what you're trying to do. Are you trying to add a new behavior? Yeah, you add that to our behavior layer. If you're trying to add a new style, you add that to either the foundations or you add that to the component styles. It's a much easier way to contribute, and it creates this scenario where everyone is just able to work together. Machines can work, the humans can work, and they can work together. It doesn't really matter who you are. And that's the layered architecture. That's what we're hoping to get out of this workflow that we're doing. All right, I'm just gonna take a sip of water while you digest all of that information. So, like I said, these are the 2 work streams we're thinking about into how can we make sure that Encore works, not just for humans, but also for machines. And as we've been thinking about these questions, as we've been talking to each other, talking to folks around Spotify, what we've come to realize is that AI is here to stay for at least a while. It's not going anywhere really. In some way, shape, or form, if you're building something at Spotify, you're probably going to use AI. And that makes it so our user base suddenly tenfolded, because it's not just designers and engineers anymore. It's like Victoria said, it's product managers, it's marketing people, it's whoever has an idea is able to do something with that idea. And that made us realize that we can't just be another system of systems. We kind of need to be embedded wherever that specific person exists. And to us, that means a lot of things. Like it's a Slack AI helper, hopefully better than the first GPT we built, that can answer support questions so we don't have to spend as much time acting FAQ. It could be a prototyping tool where we allow anyone to just build a prototype from 0 to 1 as fast as possible. Or maybe even some kind of Figma agent. We're allowing, again, anyone, not just designers, an engineer, a product manager. My mom might be able to go into Figma and build something with Encore. Because we're there. We're trying to just embed ourselves in every part of our users' workflow. And that brings us to the closing here, where we think that this ideology, this way of thinking for Encore is going to make us a design system that enables humans and machines to co-create production-ready UI faster than ever. And tack. Right. I don't know if is there a Q&A portion? If there are questions.
We have maybe time for 2 questions. Anyone? Oh, I think raised first, then maybe you can go next.
Yes. Hey, so I have a question about the foundation. You mentioned that Spotify's design system is built on another foundation. And you know the expression is, if it's important for your business, build your own. If it's not, outsource it. Why did you decide to use another foundation? And the follow-up question is, what happens when their philosophy does not match yours? Example, React area does not have an on-click. It has an on-press, I think.
Yes, that's an excellent question. It's a question we also asked ourselves when we did the pre-work to what eventually became this idea. So there's 2 parts to that question. One is the foundational part. I'll get a shout out to David Fusilier, who's the staff designer in our team, who came up with a lot of these ideas and the thoughts around it. We're kind of moving to a place where we're not seeing ourselves as maintainers of the entire system anymore. We're stewards of parts, and we're maintainers of the things that matter deeply to us. And like Serah mentioned earlier, and that like we've said in a bunch of talks before, you've probably seen Sean do some talks about what Encore is. It's accessibility, it's usability, and it's making sure that anyone is able to use what we provide. And if we can also then steward people to use, say, hey, you can actually get this button behavior from React Aria or from Base UI, that doesn't really matter to us. It's a click. If it clicks and it works, as long as the accessibility standards are there and as long as it's doing the thing that makes it look and feel like Spotify. And to the other question of that, it's like, what happens if React Aria has a button without an on-click? We're not just purely exporting. Oh, sorry, that's my alarm. We're not purely exporting React Aria or Base UI straight out. We're rewrapping it inside of our own thing. So if we want to add an on-click to something, we can expose that through our own API if that's deeply worrying to us that it doesn't have a specific API proper, an accessibility feature that we really wanted to have. So that's our way of solving this. So basically, we're maintainers of the things that matters deeply to us, and we're allowing ourselves to steward ways or people into other areas to make sure that we can, again, operate at this massive scale and at this massive speed that is required of us. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. I think we had another one here.
Hi. First of all, thank you very much for such an inspiring presentation you did today. I think I have some sort of more practical question. If I understood, you want to make the whole design system basically more accessible for all different departments. So by using AI, different like tools and so on, they can make it more like hands-on in their daily basis. In my head, I have like association kind of that you maybe in a way to build an agent or something internally in your company, and then you feed this agent with the different instructions, like system instructions with the design system of behaviors and components. And then everyone, disregard of their design or technical knowledge, can just prompt their idea, and then you provide guidance and so on. So my practical question, first one is how you feed this agent if you have kind of the agent. The second one, what you use to build this agent. Because my main hassle basically with how I can take AI, connect with all different tools we use in the company, and we are a big company, and also keep it internally, because we have a lot of requirements and personal data, so we can't use like open source so much.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, it's maybe too much, but
That's perfect. If you want me to answer, you can answer.
thank you.
I can give it a shot. I wish we had our engineer who's been leading the AI workstream here, because he would have been able to give a way more intelligible answer than I will be. But essentially, the first question here is like, how do we inform the AI, the model, that this is what it needs to do? That's the Encore MCP. It's a way for us to say, hey, here's all this information, here are all these data points that we own, and then this MCP acts as like a sublayer. It's a little, it's a gateway. So when someone asks Cloud Code or in Cursor, they say, hey, I want to build this button component, or hey, I want to build this card, or hey, I want to build this UI. The MCP then asks Encore, it says, hey, these are some of the things this user is trying to build. How should they do it? And then through that, we feed information back to the agent and say, hey, buttons are imported through here, and these are important things to know about our React environment, and things like that. So it's essentially grabbing information and then feeding back to the LLM a prompt of like, hey, here are all the things you need to do. Like, I'm sure a lot of you here have seen ideas of prompt engineering and things like that. So that's what it's doing. It's standardizing our information to the LLM. On the question how that's built, I'm a designer. No, it's a lot of hard work, and I feel like I would do a severe disservice to the very good people who have built it to even try to explain how it's built. It's data points. It's a lot of weird, like Spotify obviously has a lot of secrets. So there's a lot of making sure that no data gets funneled through outside of whatever user is doing, and all of that thing. So there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of puzzling to make sure that it happens. Just from it is, but the essentials are still there, no matter how it's actually connected in code. It's the user has an intent, and our MCP is essentially trying to understand that intent and then feed back as much information as it can to the agent or to the LLM to understand what to do next.
Yeah, so it's basically a server that we connect to an AI agent. So when they use, for example, Cursor, and they're kind of like, oh, I want to build this thing, it's going to be able to then talk to the MCP, which stores all of these data and all of this context, and from that, deliver an answer or code suggestion. Yep.
Oh, I'm sure there are more questions, but we got to move on to the next one. So maybe you can find Aleksander and Victoria afterwards and do networking, and then you can ask them questions. Thank you so much.
Thank
that
you.
was really great. Thank you. We can now get ready for our next talk, which will be IKEA in a moment. Thank you.
Yes, hello, can you hear us?
All right.
Testing. Can you hear us okay? Yeah.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
How is that?
I can see the presentation running on the screen at least.
Amazing.
That's a good start.
Sil did all the practicing with the pronunciation, but I didn't. Is it Skapa? Is it how you say it?
I think we will get to that, but it's Skapa, which means create in Swedish. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry for spoiling this. Since you're already on stage, I'll please everybody give up to IKEA. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And one more time, can you hear me okay? Yes, okay, good. You never know. Hey everyone. We're so happy to join you here tonight, even though it's through a screen this time. We hope to be able to be there live the next time. So we're here to present to you the digital design system at IKEA. Yes, it's called Skapa. And Skapa means to create in Swedish. So you probably know IKEA already. It's the blue boxes selling furniture and meatballs, but you might not know so much about our design system. and that's why we are here. So I'm Caroline, product owner in the Skapa team, and I'm here with my dear colleague Jonatan, senior design system designer.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I had to practice a lot. Yes,
All right.
we can go to the next slide. Okay, so this is what we cover tonight. We start by introducing Skapa and our team, and after that, Jonatan will take you on a deep dive into the fascinating world of cards and how to build smart, scalable card components in a complex organization with many different user needs. We'll also do a short live demo and share some key takeaways from our journey so far. And if there is time for any questions at the end, we are happy to answer them. And of course, you can always connect with us on LinkedIn, for example, if you want to discuss more later on. So here's the team. I'm not sure if you can see us. This photo was actually taken yesterday. We were founded, the team Skapa was founded in 2019. And while it wasn't the first design system at IKEA, it's the first one that really took off. And today, I would say it's well known and widely adopted across the company. And today, we're a team of 23 people, and we are located in Malmö, Amsterdam, and Berlin. And since our team is quite big, we organize ourselves in smaller teams within the design system team to manage our daily work. But we always make sure to work closely together, product, design, and engineering, to maintain and evolve the design system. Yes. So, yeah, Skapa is the official digital design system at IKEA, and it's part of the mandatory trade dress, which means that it must be used in digital touchpoints wherever applicable. So as one of the most trusted brands in the world, we carry a big responsibility in safeguarding the IKEA brand identity in digital contexts. And today we're lucky to have Skapa well anchored in the organization. It's not like a project floating around somewhere. We are part of a domain called Experience Platform Capabilities, where all the platform teams that support product teams in creating digital experiences are gathered. And our design system consists of guidelines, design, and code to make sure we have a cohesive design in all our digital touchpoints. And yes, Skapa supports all digital products at IKEA. So from coworker apps and tools used in the IKEA stores to the retail app and website that you might use when you shop at IKEA, as well as the in-store kiosks and large format screens. So this means that we design for everything from the small mobile devices to 75-inch displays. And our reach also includes stuff like email marketing, data visualization tools, and much more. So wherever there's a digital touch point, we are there to try to help ensure a consistent high-quality experience. And yes, in our offer, we have more than 60 components available both in design and code. We also offer 115 design tokens, including support for dark mode, and we support 5 technologies: React, Web Components, Vue, Android, and iOS. And apart from that, we manage the IKEA icon library with over 1,000 icons. So all icons at IKEA are created by us in Skapa to ensure consistency and quality. And of course, as design tool, yes, we use Figma, and all our documentation lives in a knowledge hub that we call Skapa Hub, which Jonatan will give you a quick tour of later. And we give quite a lot of love to our knowledge hub because documentation is super important. So we make sure that our users have what they need when building digital experiences. And the scale of IKEA, yes, it's definitely a big and complex organization. And that's both exciting and challenging. And we have quite a big and active community. And we do value our users a lot. And we currently have around 400 Figma editors, and we support more than 200 product teams. And yeah, we have Slack as we have our community mainly in Slack. So we have approximately 1,700 people there that we support on a daily basis.
And we also want to have an AI bot someday.
Yes.
You can tell us how to do it, Spotify. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would love one of those. Because support is, yes, it's a big part of our daily work. And it takes a lot of time. But of course, as I said, we value our users. So we make sure to take care of them. But on a yearly basis, I would say we handle around 50 one-to-one meetings with our users, and we onboard approximately or more than 300. We have more than 300 onboarding sessions. And I can mention here that for a new designer to get access to Figma, you need to take the Skapa designer onboarding, and we also have a developer onboarding. So we are kind of strict when it comes to that. And yes, we get a lot of feature and change requests. So I would say, 400 to 500 requests every year. So many different users and many different needs. And this is a challenge that you will hear more about now when Jonatan presents the work we did recently when introducing new card components into Skapa. So with that said, I will hand over to you, Jonatan.
Thank you. Yeah, it's some amazing numbers. Sometimes when you start to think about it, you get all sweaty sometimes when you want to release new things. So today I'm going to walk you through our journey in redesigning one of our most common UI elements at IKEA, the card component. I would say this story is more than just pixels. It's about collaboration, accessibility, and building for scale while staying true to our IKEA brand. So this is how we started our journey in the beginning, actually, of almost a year ago. So last year we set out to create a new card component that balances accessibility, style, and flexibility. And it turned out to not just be one card, but actually several similar in structure, yet distinct in purpose. And we had one clear goal, one system, multiple variants, and a consistent brand experience, which is really important for us as a brand. And I mean, at the first glance, a card component seems pretty straightforward. A layout with a title, a label, a body, an action, and maybe an image. Sounds quite easy, right? But I would say not quite, not at IKEA. Thinking about all the numbers that Caroline mentioned before. So this is the reality we faced last year when we were starting this work. So basically, we have cards everywhere in our digital products. They're a great way to group related content and works as single entry points for more detailed information. And at IKEA, we use them across our retail website, kiosks, mobile apps, and even in internal tools. But as you can see, we had a lot of them in all kinds of shapes and styles. So we basically gathered all different variants we could find across IKEA digital products as a first step to actually understand what a new card component has to support. Trying to bring a bit of clarity to this mess. I can mention that this is just a small slice of all the cards we found in our search. All right. So after running an initial workshop in the design system team, so this is a screenshot from one of the boards in Miro. We tried to look up what actually we have to support in the new component. So we quickly realized that our current card component was not flexible enough to handle all the use cases we found. And so we needed a better version that could adapt to different contexts, meet accessibility standards, and of course, still be on brand. So the challenge, I mean, after we were doing initial research across IKEA digital products, we realized that the term card meant different things to different product teams. And as Caroline said before, we have 200 product teams. So there's a lot of multiplied design here. So the Miro board here on the right is just the first stab at trying to organize something that at some point can become a card component. But the thing is, sometimes it was just a static container for text and images. Other times it was interactive, clickable, or even animated. And unfortunately, also not even accessible. So that was like the reality we were facing when we started. So a little bit about how we work, or how we love to work with our product teams at IKEA. We started by running a couple of workshops with some product teams to define what a card is and what a card is not. Of course, we also look outside IKEA at real-world examples. We mapped out use cases and identified the most common patterns. So basically, here on the right, you see some of the feedback we got initially from our product teams. And our goal was actually ambitious but clear: create a component that could cover at least 80% of our use cases without any custom builds or modifications. And I mean, aiming for 80% is really high at the big organizations like IKEA. We also set up early feedback loops so teams can test early versions and suggest improvements, as you can see here on the right. And we always release alpha versions in both code and Figma early, so teams can start experimenting and giving feedback. And yeah, this is the first result, or this is actually the released component. So the new card component, actually, yeah, the result was a highly configurable card. Man, that's hard to say in English. Teams can choose whether to include a media container, apply one of several brand-approved themes, including an extended color palette. The layout is flexible enough to handle everything from simple information, product listings, to editorial content. So basically, the only thing you have to provide in the most minimal version of our card is actually a title and an action. So basically, you can use it for a lot of use cases. So here's just a little example of all the properties that you can utilize in this component as a designer and developer. So first off, we have the top here where you can have a badge, if you want to badge a card. You can also have an icon, or you can also have commercial message, which is a IKEA thing. I think you're probably familiar with IKEA family or new products and such things. So basically, here in the content card, you have a lot of options to tailor it for what you want to do. And here on the left, we also have the media container. And I would say that was one of the biggest upgrades we did to our previous card. Sorry, I also forgot. In the middle of everything of development, we also had to add 21 new color themes that we got from the brand team. So when our content creators in the market using our CMS, they want to tailor maybe the color to the image, or they have campaigns and such things. So this is really flexible for our content creators all across the world. But to get back on the media container. So from being just a static image slot, it's now a dynamic interactive space. It can display images, can display videos, commercial messages, or even shoppable markers that link directly to product pages. I guess you are all familiar with this, the shoppable dot that we use on the IKEA website, which is a very core component in our design system. So I would say this turned the card into a more engaging and versatile component than it was before. But as we all know, working in design systems, it's never enough. To meet our product team's needs, we actually had to create 2 additional card components, similar in structure, but yet distinct in its purpose. So after building the first card component, we introduced something called a compact card, which is more minimal and lightweight for basic entry points. Also for quick navigation or dense layouts, for example, on a mobile grid when you don't have that much space or you don't want to have body text. And the media container supports most of the features as in the other card, except shoppable image because it doesn't work on smaller sizes. And we also saw a trending pattern. Designers love to put text on cards with different results and sometimes really bad accessibility. So our text overlay card places text and content directly on top of images and videos. And we also did a lot of investigation to have a flexible gradient overlay that actually ensures that the text will always have enough contrast. Basically, it means the gradient will grow with the text. So we always make sure to have enough dark behind the text. Yeah, it's good with this card. It saves a lot of vertical space and it works perfect in a mobile context. A little bit on accessibility. Here on the right, you can see an example navigating the card with a keyboard or a screen reader and a keyboard. So accessibility is really at the core of design and development at IKEA. It's very high in focus, also from the start when we start implementing and designing things. And with cards, there is no official VCAG pattern or such things. So basically what we had to do was to find our own accessibility approach. So we redesigned the keyboard navigation so users quickly can move through content logically, even if you have a screen reader. So when a screen reader announces the card, it's announced as a link, and then we will read only the header. So this was some research we did. Like, it's really annoying if you have to navigate through 10 cards and screen reader has to read the title and the body text, especially if you put a lot of text inside a card. So now, as a keyboard user and screen reader, you can actually navigate through our product cards in a carousel really fast. So yeah, we tested with our colleagues. Some of them have vision impairments, and we also work closely with our internal accessibility team to ensure the component is inclusive from day one. And now let's see a little bit of the cards in action. My plan was to do a live demo of Storybook, but then I realized that I will be too nervous to do it. So this is a screen recording, and we will start with something that Caroline mentioned before. So this is the Skapa hub, where we have all our design guidelines, components, foundations, design patterns, basically everything you need to design experiences at IKEA. Yeah, as Caroline said, we have 60 plus components, so it's a lot of time that has been spent on all the documentation. So here comes the card documentation. We always have everything in Storybook and in platforms. But I would say like 20% of my job as a designer is probably in Figma. The rest is collaboration, write documentation, all such things. Yeah, it's Figma is just a super small part. But it's also one interesting thing for us as designers. While you write the documentation about your design, you actually discover things that you might not have thought of before. So I really recommend when you design something, try to think about how you can document it and explain it to other people, because then you will also realize that you always have missed something. So this is all the properties you can have. So here is the image and media container, which supports all kinds of formats. It also resizes depending on the viewport. Of course, here's the video player. As you can see, we have just added a new transcript button to the video player as well. And here we have the shoppable image, where you basically can put tags on room pictures to find out more about the products. And yeah, here we have the new themes. So basically, each card contains a theme file, which means the card supports both dark and light mode. So here you can see when we're toggling, we're changing the text color. So it's super flexible when it comes to terms of theming and other things. This is just a small feature. It's add-on. You can choose to have an icon. You can choose to have a commercial message, or choose to have a badge. And yeah, not further ado, but we also, of course, made everything responsive. So you can also choose where the leading or trailing image should be if you have a bigger card, which is really neat, especially when you have to support everything from small handheld devices for the people working picking your products until like you have this big kiosk in the warehouse or store. So a little bit about rollout and adoption. So here on the right, you see one example from the landing page of IKEA in UK, where they used the new cards. So basically, before the redesign, our previous card components had around 106,000 monthly downloads across React, Vue, and web components. Unfortunately, that card was only available for web, but the new cards are now also available for iOS and Android, making it truly cross-platform. And as you can see before, we always develop components for all platforms. That's part of our offering. We're not only doing web components. And I mean, with such a widespread usage, I mean, you can see here on our landing page, there are a lot of different cards. So with a widespread usage, particularly among heavy users like our global CMS system for content creators, internal tools, and product teams, we anticipated that, yeah, adoption of the new card components would take time. But actually now in August this year, we celebrated a bit because we reached an adoption rate for web for over 80% of the new card component. Yay. But at its scale, I mean, adoption is really a gradual process, and that's perfectly normal thinking about how big our company is. And here are some learnings that we learned along the way. So I would say a design system is really a living organism. It needs to evolve with its users and the businesses. And collaboration across teams is essential to, to drive adoption across a big organization. And something we always make sure accessibility and brand consistency, they're never optional. They are foundational in all the stuff we're doing. And with all these props, you have these new card components. The flexibility is what allows a component to scale across platform and context. Everything from a video of a carpet on the floor until a big 80-inch TV to a mobile app. And I would say this is the beauty of a well-maintained design system, that it grows with you. I also have one last thing. So a small note, I didn't demo anything from Figma today because it looks like this at the moment. Hear me out. So in the middle of the design and development process, we had to add all these new color themes. So it summed up, we have like 1,024 variants at the moment, which makes it a really slow and painful and lots of maintenance. So our next step will be to get this down to 62 when we have the new variables up and running. So yeah, it's a bit painful right now, but we're working on it. All right. So yeah, a big shout out to the Skapa design system team, and especially to these people for building all these amazing things together. As Caroline mentioned before, we're a really tight team. We're working always together with everything, which is a really nice thing. And I think that was my last slide, and I'm sorry if I spoke too fast. All right, do you have any questions? Oh, I can't hear. No, I can hear.
Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you so much. And you did not speak too fast, I don't think. Yeah, pretty ambitious to get the 80% coverage with a single card. Yeah, and well done on all the adoption you've already had. And thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Any questions for the oh, okay. I think I saw you first over here.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm sorry, this is my first time asking a question. I'm more interested in in the documentation, like what platform or tools do you use to host the documentation, like Storybook, I don't know, I'm interested to know, yeah, like one thing is to create the component on Figma and all the variants, and another one is where do you host, create the documentation. That's one question, and the other one is, yeah, it's more like, I know that you mentioned about the collaboration, of course, like writing the content and explain the component in the documentation, and yeah, like how the relationship with the developing, updating, and the documentation, and also the implementation in production, and how that works. Yeah, sorry, 2 questions.
You wanna go first, Caroline, or should I go first?
You can go, Jonatan.
Yeah, so I mean, we have a headless CMS. We're running something called Strappy. So we basically have our own web server and for internal documentation. So it's basically, yeah, I mean, for an example, like material design, but it's the Skapa design. So it's a CMS. So basically, we do all the design in Figma. We also have a storybook. Then we also have documentation for Android and iOS separately, but we have a storybook for each web technology, so you actually can test out the live components. When it comes to collaboration, so basically we restructured a bit like a couple of years ago. We found out that you feel more ownership if you're working together, really close together, like the developers and the designers, like from day one. When you're taking a new feature on, then the whole team will be engaged from start. Basically, we are full stack teams. Basically, one sub team in our team can do a whole feature from start to the end. And that also builds you trust each other more, and everyone becomes more responsible and also more involved, and you really feel that you own the product you're working with. Previously, we had been scattered, working on mixed things and not really in those small teams. I don't know if you want to add something to that, Caroline.
Yeah, I think you said it well. And at IKEA, in the digital organization, we have this TEDx set up. So we work closely, product engineering, data, and design. So it's the way we work at IKEA. So yes, working closely together, we should be involved from the start, including data in our decisions. And cross-functional is really important in both discovery and delivery of the products and things we do.
Thank you. We have
Did
time
that answer your question? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a thumbs up. We have time for a very quick question. So is a quick question? Okay.
Hello. I was wondering if you can elaborate a little bit more on the responsiveness, especially if you have marketing people working on a CMS. Was it something that you defined that you can only use 3 cards that will look exactly like this, or how flexible was that they could decide if they will look horizontal and carousel, or because when you show on the start page you can see all the flexibility of the cards, but was it something that you decide on the rules, or is it flexible enough for the people to decide how they want the cards to look?
So basically we have content systems running at IKEA. Basically, it's a CMS system where each country market will create their own campaigns and stuff. So we have been working really closely together with our CMS team, which is also a big team. Caroline's old team, you know a lot about this. But when it comes to the flexibility of resizing, no, you can't really decide how the card should behave, because that's inside the component. Basically, if you would do a resize to really big display, you will automatically get the layouts that you have image and you have the content, or you can swap them around. There are some settings where you can lock it down so it doesn't, relay out when the display gets bigger. But most of the time, for example, in a carousel on the web page, it's locked to a certain style and design when you add content as a content creator. Of course, you have like, I don't know how many colors there is, but you have a lot of colors and things. And also the image content that we come from another source at IKEA, we have a huge, I don't know how much I can say. But there's like a media factory. Basically, you get the images. So when the images comes from the system, they don't only come in one aspect ratio. So they could be 1:1, they could be 16:9, 9:16. So depending, for example, on the carousel or the viewport, you could adapt to another image format. It's a bit complicated. Did that answer your question? I'm sorry. It's the short version.
Well, I saw a lot more people raising their hands, but we don't have time, unfortunately. But you can reach out to Jonatan and Carolyn on LinkedIn, yeah, and ask your questions. Putting you
Yes.
on the spot here. Thank you
Please
so
do.
much. Please, everybody,
Thank
get
you.
up there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I really hope we can join in person next time. It looks like you
Yes.
had a good time.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have a slice of pizza for you.
Yeah.
Yes, do that.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
again.
Bye.
See
Have a
you.
lovely evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. So we're gonna take a super quick break. If anyone needs to use the bathrooms, they're over there. We'll be back in less than 10 minutes. Yeah. Ready or not?
Let's go. Come on, friends. Take a seat. We want to continue with the talk from Figma.
You sound like a school principal.
Yeah.
You sound like a school principal. You're gonna get in trouble.
So please come back, everybody. It's time for our next talk. Let's get started.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we're all very curious to know what Labubus and Birkenstocks have to do with design and AI. So I'm going to bring Laura from Figma here to let us know. Thank you so much, Laura.
Hello, hello. Just trying to figure out which side has the nicer color, so I stand in front of that one. So yeah, I'm super happy to be here. If like anyone had told me like a year ago, I will stand at Spotify and talk about AI and design systems and also work at Figma, I might have laughed very hard, but now this is the reality. So I'm super happy to be here to talk with you about AI and also a little bit about design systems. But yeah, a little bit to myself. This is me as a little nugget. This is me now. And as I already said, I'm working at Figma as a designer advocate. And that means I'm kind of working together with our account managers and get the amazing chance to, as now in Stockholm, visit a bunch of our customers and look into their design systems, help them to build better design systems and show them how they could maybe like use AI in a responsible way in their day-to-day life. And if I don't do that, I have a dog. His name is Cosmo. And I love to do walks with him as I'm from Germany and we Germans really love to walk. And if I don't walk with my dog or when I walk with my dog, I love to take pictures. I have a ridiculous amount of cameras at home, which I never use, but I still buy more. And some of you might already know in the audience that know me, my biggest hobby is coffee. Every time I'm going to a new city, that's basically the only thing I'm checking out. I'm taking pictures and like exploring the city while drinking coffee. I already had the chance to try some very amazing coffee shops here in Stockholm. If anyone needs some recommendations, I'm happy to geek out afterwards about coffee. But that's not what we're here for tonight. We're here to talk about AI and how that can maybe help your design systems. but I would love to take a step back and like not just directly jump into how you could actually use it, but like talk a little bit about what the hype around AI means and how you kind of like look through it, how history and looking onto history actually helped me to, yeah, feel a little bit more safe and also better, and like seeing through, yeah, all the different new things popping up with design systems, and then also at the end, how to actually use it in your day-to-day life. So yeah, so how to like don't believe the hype. And here I would like to start with this little cute thing. As we already know, someone is here who has a Labubu. I have one at home too. I got one recently, a very huge one. It's now the favorite toy of my dog. So let's see how long it will survive. But like, I guess we all know, like, I don't know, on social media, everywhere else now, like Bubus are like super big and they're like an absolute hype, but like, will they like really stay? Will they last? Or maybe are they also just like burst like a bubble? Because when we just like look back some month, like everywhere there was like Dubai chocolate. You saw like beautiful influencers sitting in their car, eating chocolate, and everything was about Dubai chocolate. There are even Dubai chocolate Labubus. I saw them filled with matcha, all the trends at once. But I think already this hype is kind of like fading, even if maybe some months ago we all thought like Dubai chocolate is the thing and it will stay. And now I got a little bit louder, a little bit weird. But okay. But like if we look actually a little bit back, and I don't know if you remember that trend, when I was like 15 or 16, really like all my friends got like tattoos of like mustaches on their finger, and like I was a hardcore emo girl and also painted this with my Kaya liner on my finger. And there were several pictures on my MySpace page, if you still remember MySpace. But same as the mustache, or I think in the same area, there was also like pineapples everywhere in decoration. Like even if it was everywhere, it faded. Or if you maybe remember Flappy Bird or Angry Bird, it was like so popular. The people who invented it made a shit ton of money. But now, like, no one is playing it anymore. Or fidget spinners, right? Like, they were very big, and now you maybe still find them, like, in some small repair shops, but actually none of them is using anymore. But then, there are Birkenstocks. And me, as a German, owning several pairs of Birkenstocks, they're actually, like, trending every summer season. They bring out a new model. Everyone buys it, but you might don't know, they were founded like 251 years ago. And since they are founded, they have like a year-over-year growth in their business. They're bringing out new models. They're kind of riding the trend wave, but they're also there to last. And like in the following part, I would love to explore how we can find out what should stay from the AI trend and what should maybe just like fade away, like Dubai chocolate or fidget spinners. But first of all, I would like to take a little bit personal note on that and like tell a little bit about how to kind of like stay sane when it comes to AI, because even though I'm working at Figma and some people might like to call us experts when it comes to a lot of topics, I really often, and especially when I prepared this talk and coming to Stockholm, where I heard that this is like the epicenter of AI and you're really all riding the wave hard, I was very afraid to fail. Coming here, for example, or meeting any of our customers and telling them something that they already know, there's a tool I don't know about. So I hope like the following minutes and the stuff I will talk about will help you, same as it helped me, to stay sane and yeah, being in the AI bubble. So what I did to myself is actually travel a little bit back in time, because I was like, okay, learning from history is a good thing. So I went back to 1995, where I was just 5 years old. So probably didn't know at that time that much about the .com bubble, which I will now dive a little bit deeper into and show you how you can actually compare that to the current AI bubble. So let's see how we can connect the future, the history to the now. So you might maybe all remember back in the days, like 20, 30 years ago, when the internet became to be popular. It was like kind of like accessible to more and more people. And there was like this huge hype around browser-based companies. Like if you wanted to get any kind of investment from a big company in your business, you needed to be browser-based. And I think a really good example is NASDAQ. They were very big. They made a lot of money, but also at a certain point, like 4 or 5 years into like the kind of like browser hype, like actually people started to realize, oh, we actually don't make any profit with those companies. We put a lot of money in, but there's no profit. Might sound a little bit familiar to what is going on at the moment. So even though like there was like a huge crash and kind of a lot of browser-based companies kind of faded out, NASDAQ is still there, but they're way smaller as they've been like in the 90s, early 2000s. Still like all this kind of like hype left something like very important to us. Because if you think about Google, like this was like a tremendous change in behavior that we had like in the early 2000s. You basically, everything you did, everything you wanted, you went to Google, you searched for it, even though, I mean, we even made up a term, right? To say, okay, I just go and Google it, right? So it was like a main behavior change and like how we actually do things. And as you might know, also Figma is a browser-based company, as we for a long time had the slogan, meet me in the browser. So as you can see, like this .com bubble, it like bursted, but it still left something like fundamental, something fundamental for us. And we're still doing basically everything in the browser till this little friend came up. And I think we are just at the verge of like another like big behavioral change, right? You don't go to Google anymore for everything you want, right? You go to ChatGPT, you go to Claude, to whichever your provider you prefer, and you might just paste in an image and ask, oh, where can I find the nearest shop where I can buy a new pair of Birkenstocks? Or I don't know, a lot of my friends get like advice on their relationships via ChatGPT. If that's a good thing, that's debatable, but people do that now. Like back in the days, you maybe went to Google and asked for relationship advice. Now you ask ChatGPT to solve your relationship problems. So what can we actually take from the AI bubble? What should stay, and how can this help us in our day-to-day life as a designer, as an engineer, as a product manager? And here, I would love to talk about handover and maybe make a statement that Figma wouldn't love in the first moment, because I would say handovers are kind of dead, at least as we know handovers now, because still in the majorities of cases, even if you leveraging dev mode, you're using annotations, you're doing all the shebang to do a great handover, you still are the designer who's walking over to the engineer being like, here's my handover, and then you walk back and continue to work on the next task. But this is like still not the optimal way to work. And again, if we look a little bit back, like maybe shortly after the .com bubble bursted, where I started to like slowly dive into the field of like graphic design and like doing websites, where there was still like the job title of like the web designer, where you basically been a PM, you've been a designer, you've been an engineer, you did the whole thing on your own, you coded, you designed. And then over the years, we kind of like, siloed us and like went into all those different disciplines, UX, UI, data science, backend, front end, like all those different kind of like languages that we learn to speak. And with that, we kind of like learn to like we're just misunderstanding us, right? Because we're all speaking a different language. And I actually think that AI has like the superpower when like used in a responsible way to kind of like bring us a little bit back to like a format of, I don't know if you know the game Pong, to have like a way more playful way of interacting with each other, working together, like not just kind of like throwing things over the fence, even if they're defined nicely, but actually having the option to be in an open, playful dialogue with each other from the beginning to the end, and also switching seats, right? Like the designer can maybe like code a lo-fi prototype using Cursor, using Figma Make, or Claude AI, whatever suits them best. And also the engineer has the ability to maybe like test out some visual things that they couldn't do before because they weren't able to use Figma in the design mode. So, oh, that's my last slide. Enough about me talking. Let's demo some features in Figma that we can use to leverage AI and make your life as a design system designer easier. And now let me make this smaller and go here. Oop. So I picked two different cases that I would love to demo today. And one is, let's imagine you have a dialogue component in your design system. And I've been so flankly and picked the design system I worked in before Figma because I still had the design system library. And so imagine you have a dialogue, you have a product, and it's used in, I don't know, 10 different languages. And you have some specific requirements, and you give this card component just like in one language in your design system to all your users. So then they start to misuse, I don't know, the amount of text they can put in, or they're not texting it in the languages, things are breaking. So how about you use AI, and in this case, we will use Figma Make because I work at Figma, to build an interactive playground for your designers to just like test different language, test text length. And as you are a design system designer, you can also like put in some like educational nudges, like, for example, don't use too much text. So let's try that out. And I go to the design system and look for the dialogue component, dialogue. And I grab it, copy paste, go here, copy paste it in the Figma Make box. And now I need to put the microphone under my armpit. Let's see if that works. That's okay, I can do it like that. Yes, yes, yes. I like to test weird stuff, so that's good. So let's write a prompt. Make a interactive playground. And sorry if I'm mistyping because I'm doing too many things at once, and generally I have a bad writing. And make the text editable, and add a call out when reaching max 2 lines of text. Okay, we have an interactive playground of the dialogue. We have different languages. Let's also say English, German, Spanish. And then let's see. We let the AI work. Let's do the magic. I obviously already prepared it, but we can go back to that later on. So this is how it ended at the end. And here also see, right, I have like one prompt. I didn't use more. Here I wrote it a little bit different and also a little bit more clear. But as you can see, we have the dialogue title, the description, primary and secondary button as they were in the design. And here we have the different languages to test. And then you can go here to the preview of how all the fields would look, and then show the dialogue. Now we just see it in English, but we can also go back and go to German. And even if none of you will understand it, it's in German. And we also have English, and whoop. If I use too much text, it's giving me a call out that I'm using too much text. So you not just build a playground for your designers, but you can also drizzle in your design system guidelines in like a very easy way. And I know that not a lot of design system teams have the funding to have a person, as we saw at IKEA, right, where they said, okay, 80% of their time they're actually dedicating to education and writing documentation. A lot of teams don't have those resources, so I think this can be like a very easy way to like educate your designers in a very playful way, very quickly, and then you can just pass this link into your Figma file in the, I don't know, component description, or publish the make to your workspace, and then people can play around with it. Okay. We can also go back and see, this looks a little bit different. So let's say it looked like this. This looks better. That's the beauty of AI. It always looks different. Okay, and let's quickly rip original one. There you go. Making it big. Amazing. And to end on a hopefully inspiring note, or like a nice metaphor I like to use when it also comes to AI is, as I'm very passionate to go to the gym, obviously I use something from the gym. If you want to get buff, get lean, whatever, want to have a six-pack, you can't send anyone else to the gym and let them do the exercise for you. You need to do it on your own. You need to put in dedication, love, sweat, and tears to get what you want. And it's the same with AI. You need to put in the effort. You need to put in discipline and dedication to use it in a way that is also sustainable for the environment. Climate change is real. So I still would love to encourage, like, be curious and build things, and don't be afraid, because it's a lot of fun. And that's it. You can use mine if you want.
Okay. Thank you so much, Laura. And it feels like it was very inspiring, also kind of like a therapy session. Like, let's not be afraid of the AI bubble. Anyone got any questions? We have time for one. Did I see hands?
I have no question. Perfect.
Yeah, you explained it so well. That's
You
it.
can talk to me afterwards. I don't
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, feel free to approach Laura after, but I think we have.
Just a simple question. This is awesome. I mean, this will save a lot of time creating all the variants. Yeah, when we can expect the beta?
Such a simple question.
You knew that was coming, didn't you?
I can't really answer that. Like, we just, I think, and Luis also, and maybe he knows, we just released the sign up registration for the non-so, half-so public alpha, because we announced it, so it's kind of public, last week. So it's just starting in an alpha, right? Which means there comes a beta, and then a public one. So it still takes a little bit of time, I guess, but it's definitely will come this year. I will say that now. I'm sure. Now Figma needs to release it this year because I said it. So yeah.
Sorry, we only had time for one. Yeah, super quick.
How can I get to alpha?
There was a sign-up form, but I think for now it's sadly full. Yeah, it's like, as you know, as it is with AI, and AI, again, climate change is real. Like, you need to have a certain set of people, right? Because if not, it's like not good for Figma and also not good for the environment.
We'll wait for the beta then. Yeah. Thank you so much, Laura.
Woo! Thank you so much, Laura. See you at one of our upcoming meetups in Berlin, maybe. Laura is a frequent speaker. We are excited to, we are excited, always excited to learn the newest vibe coding and AI stuff from Figma. So Friends, it's time for last session, which is called Pitch to Friends. And we are running a little bit out of time. Please don't leave us a bad rating because there was not enough time for networking. But we have so many people who would like to share and show stuff. So pitch to friends. You would like to ask community members to come on stage and talk about themselves for like, really please keep it very short if it's possible, for like 2 minutes or something. And I can give you a quick demo of a pitch. Hi, my name is Serah. I'm looking for somebody who would like to continue organizing Into Design Systems meetups in Stockholm and become our Into Design Systems chapter lead for Stockholm. If you're up for organizing design system events.
Oh, time's up.
Sorry, my time.
I think we have our first.
Yeah, we already have our first volunteer. Welcome. What's your name?
I'm gonna time myself because.
Oh wow, that's very organized.
As my team knows, when I start, it's hard to shut me up. But anyway, I just wanted to say, now I have 1 minute and 50 seconds. I'm a full stack dev. I'm doing all sorts of things, except for one thing that I don't do is a design, UI and UX. And here is such a wonderful company of people here. So I thought there was a thought I had this year. And before I share the thought, how many of you donate to charities? Put your hand up. Donate to charities, anyone? Okay. Anyone went to the protest this year to show support for something that they care about? Hand up. Some people go places. So what occurred to me is that AI is going to be a huge, massive leverage for you folks because it sucks at creating beautiful systems for humans. It can do code, so it can automate my job easy, which is fine. And I started building. Oh yeah, so since you care about some stuff and you're creative minds, you should start thinking. And I hope people here are thinking how to redesign way we run society, how to redesign way we do things as governments. So we have 2 things in mind: capitalism and democracy. Both suck. And both are work in progress, and they're not going to change by themselves. And I think people in the room would be a great thinkers, and way, because the governments, they're really not good at doing creative stuff. And myself, this is a pet project of mine. I want to build a BDS app. In this context, it's boycott, divest, and sanctions tool, because I tried few and I was like, this is not good. I'm going to do my thing. So this is it, shameless plug. I'm gonna build it. Don't care if anyone uses it, but I think we just need to build stuff, Now we have all the tools, so go and reimagine the world. There.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Great job. High fives. Thank you. Let's go next. Quick pitch. Yeah, let's go.
Hello. Jonas, product designer, full stack developer. I would like to get in contact with somebody who has a Figma enterprise account. I've built like a headless design system that I would like to publish open source. It will basically, all the pain points that the IKEA designer pointed to, even the Figma advocate, they will basically disappear with the design systems that I've built. So yeah, I just want to talk to somebody who has an account, see if we can publish some stuff with all the different modes that an enterprise account kind of has. Yeah, that's it.
Great job. Thank you. Where can people learn about you? LinkedIn? Jonas Brums. Yeah, easy. Okay. Want to go next, Juanita? Set it up. While we set this up, anyone else wants to do a very quick pitch? Yeah, come on, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Come on. Woo!
Hi, my name is Lisbeth, or Liz. I work as a product designer at CDON. And it just came to my mind that we have two brands, and I was wondering if there's some other people working on design systems, one design system for different brands that would like to share or talk to me and discuss different challenges that I'm facing. That's it.
How can people find you?
Yeah, my LinkedIn is Lisbeth Guerrero. Or Guerrero, if you want to spell it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Great job. We have three more. We cheated a little bit. We asked somebody to prepare a little bit. We were so worried that nobody's going to pitch. So we have Manuela. Yeah, of course.
Hi, I'm Linda. I'm just gonna start a new job, B2B enterprise level, and I mean I have experience, but this is quite important for me, and I don't know if anyone here like working B2B. And yeah, it would be very interesting to know, like, of course, like you have experience about like a design system, but like, yeah, everything that advises, anything that could help me. Yeah, it would be interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. High fives. Great job. One more? Yeah, let's go. Come on.
Thank you. My name is Jie Chen. I just graduated as a middle age. So I changed my occupation from something else, from biology to preschool teacher and also marketing to something coming here to the community, UX, UI. And I really looking forward to get a paid job. So I have a good, I have quite many opportunities of unpaid internship, and I'm good at AI, and I have background graphic design, UX, UI design, and also front-end development skills. So if you are looking for someone has the passion about this, just looking for me. My name is Jie, J-I-E, that's how we spell it, and C-H-E-N, that's my family name. Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
job. High fives. All right, Maria, let's go. You want to hold the mic? Next pitch.
Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to talk to you guys. I'm Manuela. I work as a design system consultant, and just as many of you, I'm really deeply passionate about our community and other communities out there. So coming from the design system, I know firsthand how crucial is a strong community is to build a solid and accessible knowledge of base. We can see here now and in others meetups and conferences that still put together into design system. So today I want to talk about that, but also about something a little bit more tangible. I've always been curious about the maker world and a DIY spirit. And I usually work with software and digital interfaces. And I decided to challenge myself and mostly challenge AI to help me make hardware from the ground, completely out of my comfort zone. I had no idea. I had like basic electronics from high school, but not that more than that. So at first I thought about creating a keyboard because I really like mechanical keyboards. Then I thought, okay, that's too much for the first thing. Let's scale down to a macro pad. And finally the idea clicked that what if I build a controller for Spotify with 3 keys, an encoder, play, previous, and next, and volume, and even a small screen that could show us what music was playing, the album, and progress. The idea started really small, and I used artificial intelligence as my partner to learn electronics, to write the first lines of code, and to actually put together a working prototype. We can see here. Right now, there's no music playing. But this wasn't quick. We had a lot of mistakes, me and ChatGPT and Claude. I like to put them together fighting to see who's gonna come up with a better answer. So we had a lot of mistakes along the way. It took many iterations to work. AI guided me through all the errors, adjustments, and keep me going forward and help me understand what I was doing wrong. And that's how my very first hardware came to life. It's a DIY device powered by a ESP32S3 that I could use to play, skip songs, and see what's was playing. This was just a hobby, a personal challenge that I want to put out there and bring an idea to life with the help of AI. But as I start to using it, I realized it was just a little bit more than just a music controller. It was about the possibilities that we can come from combining the DIY, maker, culture, and artificial intelligence. That was the turning point. We are now taking it further, step by step. We are working together with a hardware specialist who is helping us to proper design a PCB and review the entire code base, because definitely it's a mess. With this collaboration, the controller it's becoming more solid. We now can use in different players, and it's going to be more reliable. So this controller is more than just a gadget for us. It's DIY by nature, it's hackable and open. Anyone can reprogram it for whatever they need, like music, videos, automatizations, even games. We see is like a blank canvas or for creativity, and something that invites people to build, experiment, and make their own. And we want the whole experience to be hands-on. The idea is that the controller comes in separate parts so people can solder, learn more about soldering, and assembling themselves. They can even print 3D cases. That is this one. We can print 3D bases and make this project more than customizable. It's much deeply personal. So what excites us the most is not only the hardware itself, but the community that can form around it. Just like in the maker world and open source projects, people can share their own scripts, layouts, and creative uses. And this controller, it's more than a device, and can become a platform and a space where ideas can grow collectively. So this project began as a personal challenge, grew with the help of AI, and now is evolving to support with support of professionals and the community around it. It's no longer just about the controller, it's about creating a movement within the DIY maker. And our vision is simple, is to give people the tools to turn their idea into reality, especially like new ones in the maker world. Like the idea is give like this PCB that comes already with the microcontroller they need and everything else. So that's it. For next, we are looking for feedback to shape the new steps, open to partnerships that can make the project stronger. And mostly we are validating here with this community and a couple of others to understand if there is really a use case for this and how this could impact our community. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, next pitch. Let's go.
Hello, my name is Martin. I'm from Norway. I recently moved here on Monday last week, so brand new in the city. Thank you. I come from a company called Octo Technologies. We are building a dancing game for mobile. And we do it by body tracking. So you put out your phone, and based on the camera, your body becomes an avatar on the screen. It took us 2 years to make the technology launchable with a game on top. So recently we hired a few guys from Rovio, which is Angry Birds, you guys know. Nobody plays it, so I hired them. And Cyber Games, which is Subway Surfer. But we are looking for talented people. We are in the iteration process, which is basically playing around with the technology and figuring out what does actually the player wants in a dancing game, and how should the flow be, etc. There's a bunch of designers in this room, and if one of you think there should be a dancing game for mobile, come talk with me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next page. We have 3 more, and I promise that's it. Okay, let's go.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Varya. I'm a design system consultant working for as tech lead and sometimes product owner. And I learned about this session maybe 30 minutes before event started. And I used these minutes to sit here and code what I'm going to show you. So here's the QR code. Sorry, I didn't have any time for presentation. So basically, when Sil told me about the session, she said that maybe it would worth to mention that I'm looking for a new project, and suggested to grab some wine to be able to say that. And so I did, and the wine worked so well that I got thinking, maybe I use this very stage to promote a competing event.
Time is up.
And so here is what I coded and merged right before the event, and I'm going to show you this page. Oh my God, it's not that. It's for that. Yeah. Yeah. Here it is. So basically, I'm running a series of very casual meetups called Design System Breakfast. It's a remote meetup with very casual atmosphere, and it's more like friends discussion, even though we have presentations. But today we had really amazing talks. And if any of you want to have similar talks somewhere, you need to have a place to start from. And if you have something not so prepared where you're looking for early feedback, you can come to our breakfasts and present your idea, or maybe a presentation for future conference, and get that feedback. So basically at the page that I have shared, there are like examples of the breakfast we had already. And if you go to any of it, besides the information, you have a link how to speak at our breakfast. So please do. And thank you.
Perfect. Welcome. See you at the Design Systems breakfast. One in between pitch before we set up. You promised together, but you're 20 seconds, okay? You wanted to present something? Yeah. Sorry, this is like usually we have like nobody who wants to pitch anything. We are like, oh my God, we don't want to say no to nobody. Anyone? Keep it very quick, okay?
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Hello there. I'm curious about what the next design paradigm could look like. So I love Google Maps. It is so much information in so many different layers. You can just scroll around and you can filter and have so many things there. But we don't really have that for other kind of information. Like we have Notion and things like that, but I would like to have data on some sort of infinite mind map space where you can look into design systems and look into other things, and especially look into how to do lemonade and look what kind of lemons there might exist and what kind of lemons. Oh, there's an Eureka lemon. What kind of appearance does it? Oh, wait, that's even colors. Okay, so there are many different things you can like go further and further and further. I would like to connect with other people that are curious about what design could look like and UI could look like if we're not limited to rectangles in rectangles, but where we can have maybe more fluid kind of environments where you suddenly just could turn all the text and maybe have way more fluid systems generally. I'm not exactly sure how this would be useful, but I believe there's something here. Thank you.
That's so cool. Amazing. Thank you so much. High fives. Thank you. All right. So in between, we set up the next pitch. Another one. Please keep it very short if it's okay.
Hi, this is Terry.
And this is Oscar.
We just have launched the new Stockholm-based design community, and it's called Stockholm
AI and product design.
Yes, and we are like very focused on hands-on and like workshop-based community event. And we just had like the first event, which went really great.
And we would like to ask any of you in the audience if there is some interest in people joining, or if there is any sponsors when it comes to venues or location, everything. We're more than happy to talk with any of you lovely guys over here. Yeah, and we hope you find this interesting to you, and you're all very warm and welcome.
Exactly. So first event, we just like had a bit of like design ideation with all different designers, more like workshop based, and like 2 or 3 people joined, and then like do the design challenge within 1 hour with different AIs. And we are now thinking about doing the similar design challenge, but with devs, with AI, of course. So yeah, you are all welcome, and we are looking for any kind of like sponsors or venue support if there's any company or so that's it. You can find it on LinkedIn, like Stockholm AI and product design community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, come on. I just cannot. I can't say no. Or please just keep it short. Okay?
Hey all, I'm CEO, Uruguayan Spanish senior UX designer based in Barcelona recently, and I'm looking for new opportunities, grow my community. So yeah, I love making friends. Let's talk. And also I'm a dancer, so for the guy that talk about the dancing game, I'm in. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. Yeah, 20 seconds. Come on. Wow, so many pitches.
Hello.
You friends are
Hi,
amazing.
I'm Somesh, and I just realized my pitch won't work because we are in a room full of designers. But if your friends or colleagues or someone is building a startup and need some kind of design advisory and you don't have time, ping me, because I have time and I really would love to work with startups and help them with design questions or whatever in my free time. So I'm offering free design help for startups, and I love working with startups. So my name is Somesh. You can find me on LinkedIn, and see you.
Nice. That's so cool. I like this initiative. High fives. All right. Our last pitch, Martin. 3 minutes. Time is up. Sorry.
Hello. Okay, yeah. So hi, Stockholm. Nice to be here. I will try to do this super fast because I have 3 minutes. So as you can see here, this is my child and Mr. Biscuit. And we want to show you how you can actually supercharge your Figma variables using our plugin variable visualizer. So I have like 3 super fast cases, how you can actually design better in Figma variables. So first one, we now have the color scale generator and contrast operator. So what is scale generator? As you can see here, I'm creating the color scale, and you can choose how many steps, what kind of algorithm or what color is used. And this is happening in real time. But then if you want to check your contrast, you can use contrast operator. And then when you're connecting these nodes here, you can see what is the score between the surface and the foreground. So on the chip on the right, you see when I'm changing the color, then the label of the chip is reacting in real time. And you can also have the ACPA. So that was first. Second is more math. So we have also math operator. So if you want to play with some equation inside Figma, now it's possible. And you can see on this example that radius and padding for this toggle, defining our knob corner radius. Because when we're changing it, then we actually getting this equation that will style our knob, basically, which is pretty cool, I would say. And then, last but not least, we have the AI assistant. So why we should write our tokens when we can just write this to our AI assistant, like what I did here, to build me tokens for a button, I mean variables, but yeah, potato, potato. And then you see there's everything was done here, and then you just need to check it because it's still machine and human collaboration, but it's pretty cool. And last one, now I want to apply all those variables on my button, but why I should do this manually? Just boring, right? So I can just say to my AI assistant, hey, can you style me this button? And give it a second because he's now thinking. And you see we have the button. And our button already have 4 states. So you do not need to create multiple buttons or components because it actually works, right? So we have hover, pressed, disable. And in a second, you will see that everything what is here is already in variables, right? So the AI assistant did everything for you, which is super, super cool. And that's the final. So we have now -20 promo code into DesignSystems Spotify. This is in this QR code is the page of our plugin. You can still use it for free. Just AI assistant is unfortunately paid. So like 10 seconds for pictures and I'm gone.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fast.
Yeah, thank you so much, Martin. Well done. Thanks for coming here from Berlin to pitch a variable visualizer. That's it, friends. Thank you so much for your time, for your attention. We really hope to, Andressa, come on. Let's say bye together. We really hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much. We still have time for networking until 10 p.m. Yeah, any last words?
No, just thank you, everybody, and thank you for all the pitches. They're amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really love the Swedish community. Thank you.